Hey everybody, Dan with painforyou.com. Thank you to the few folks who commented on yesterday's video about my interpretation of the roommate inside of our head. I probably was a little quick to say we need to shut them up. And it was pointed out that we're better off transcending this voice in our head as opposed to battling it. And it was some great points. So today's video, I want to give you kind of my recipe for ending TMS or distraction pain. And it all starts with going back to the foundation and understanding what's going on. Because a lot of what Dr. Sarno did and the other experts do is knowledge therapy. So recipe ingredient number one is the knowledge. So if you haven't read any books about this stuff, start. Read a couple of Sarno's books, read Steve Ozanish, read Nicole Sachs, read Adam Heller's book, Zero Pain Now, read Georgie Oldfield, Dr. David Hanscom, he wrote Back in Control. Dr. David Clark wrote They Can't Find Anything Wrong with Me. There's a lot of books that all kind of reiterate similar themes, and you don't need to read them all. Right? Because as I've pointed out, reading books is not how we get better. Reading books is purely to give ourselves a base level of knowledge about this process that is trying to distract us from our emotions. So again, at its core, these symptoms are there to distract us from emotions that are overwhelming, scary, and the brain even perceives as dangerous. So what do? We learn about this. We understand that our body is fine and our emotions are fine. We've been taught that certain emotions are completely unacceptable, and we've been running away from them for years, if not decades, most of our lives. So the knowledge, if you want a little primer on the knowledge side of it, I have a great explainer video at painforyou.com. It's right there on the homepage. You can watch that. It's about 20 minutes that really talks about how pain starts and how it becomes chronic. And there's a lot of statistics on, medical, real scientific studies that prove that structure does not cause pain. One of them being that 2/3 of people without back pain have bulges and herniations in their MRI results. And if you took 100 people without pain and did MRIs and did 100 people with back pain and did MRIs, the doctors would not be able to tell the difference in these two stacks of MRIs. And so there's a lot of proof out there. That video helps explain it. So if you need more knowledge, go to that video, pick up a couple of books, read through them, gain the knowledge that you need, because that knowledge is going to help you really do a firm assessment. So ingredient number 2 of this process of getting better is doing a self-assessment, right? Go through your pain history. Connect the dots between what was going on in your life when symptoms happened, whether it be pain or other symptoms, gastrointestinal, headaches, whatever it may be. Look back. Go all the way back through your life. Did you have headaches in high school? Did you have stomach problems in college? Did you have back pain as a young adult with kids? Did you have any major life events happening correlating to those challenges? Connect the dots. It's really important. Another part of the assessment is really evaluating what you believe about yourself if you feel certain emotions. I did that in another video a while back. I do have a self-assessment that you can download for free at painforyou.com. Not pushing that, but it is a useful process to go through, and you'll see several of these suggestions that I'm giving you here in this document that you can print out and go through. And if you can't print it out, don't have a printer, looking at it on your phone, just take out a blank sheet of paper and, write some stuff out as a result of what this assessment's telling you. But the purpose of the assessment is to take the knowledge that you've learned and make it relate to you. How does this work in your life? Some of it is personality traits. I get into that. Some of it is pain characteristics. Well, it doesn't hurt the same all the time. Sometimes it's on the left side, sometimes it's on the right side. The pain moves, or it gets better when I'm in a less stressful environment. Sometimes in a more stressful environment, my pain flares. Or if I get really upset, something, gets worse. So go through that assessment. So ingredient 1 is knowledge. Ingredient number 2 is assessment. Third ingredient here is decision. Once you've actually gone through the assessment and knowledge portion of this process, you actually have to make a decision. 2 things. Number 1, your body is okay. Your body is not at fault. Yes, it hurts in the body. The pain is very real. The pain is in your body. You can feel it in your back. I'm not telling you you're imagining it. But the pain is real. It's in your body, but it's not caused by a flaw or abnormality in the body. It's caused by your brain feeling it needs to distract you from these overwhelming, scary, and dangerous emotions. So, knowledge, assessment, is this you? Decision that your body is okay, that your emotions are safe, right? Because again, the brain is creating this distraction to keep you from becoming aware of these overwhelming, scary, and dangerous emotions. And I often say emotions that don't fit in with your own self-image about yourself. And so the key here is to decide that these emotions are safe. It doesn't mean anything negative about you if you feel certain emotions. It just means you're human and you're feeling human emotions. So in yesterday's video, I talked about the inner roommate, and I may have jumped a little on board of telling it to shut up, and maybe that wasn't right. That inner voice, that inner roommate, it's probably never going to shut up. So maybe you can simply learn to observe the inner roommate and decide that they don't have anything useful to say. And thank you to the commenters in yesterday's video who pointed these out to me. It's all about transcending that inner voice that's not looking out for you and has nothing good to say, and just deciding that that inner voice doesn't really get a say in how you move forward with your day. So maybe you don't do battle with it, but you can definitely decide that that inner voice is not fact. It is not truth. It is just this naysaying inner voice that just never stops talking. So what's next? What's the next ingredient? Feeling. Feeling is absolutely critical here, because again, if the brain has created this distraction to keep you from feeling these emotions that are scary and dangerous and perceived as too overwhelming, then the answer to stop this distraction is to shift to those things that the brain is trying to distract you from, and allow these emotions to come into your conscious brain and become aware of them. Because once you do, it is as simple as the brain saying, oh, I don't have to protect him from these emotions, they're already in his conscious brain, so it can let go of the distraction, and the pain can stop. Quickly sometimes, not as quickly other times, but the timing doesn't matter. The key is to feel your emotions without the stories. Look, sometimes we get stuck in the stories and we ruminate on the circumstances of our life, and we tell ourselves these stories. And sometimes that's that inner roommate that is repeating these stories. You know, you're not good enough. You're a loser. You'll never beat this pain. Yes, Sarno's work made sense. It is a distraction, but you're never going to figure this out. It hasn't worked yet. Why would you think it's going to work now? And so we've got to learn to essentially separate that inner voice from who we are. That's not us. It's kind of a subconscious program that's running in the background at all times. It's really tough to turn it off, but you can choose not to pay it much attention. You can choose to say, oh, those are just fleeting thoughts. That's not really who I am. I get to choose. My conscious mind gets to choose. Really important there. So feel your emotions deeply, allow yourself, commit to a daily process. I say all the time, reading books is not how you get better. And yes, that was part of it. That was my number one recommendation, is to read so you can gain the knowledge, because the knowledge is the foundation of this. But you got to feel your emotions. Why? Because we need to convince our subconscious brain that this distraction is no longer needed, because we're not running from these perceived as scary and dangerous emotions anymore. We're actually embracing them and allowing them to surface and allowing ourselves to feel them without judgment. Remember, we are not broken, damaged people just because we have negative emotions. They are allowed. They're human. We're designed to cry. We have tear ducts in our face that allows us to shoot liquid out of our eyes. We blush. We have sweaty hands when we get nervous. We get a fast heartbeat when we get scared. We even have panic attacks as a result of our emotions and our emotional state and our chronic state of stress, tension, and all these unresolved emotions that we're so afraid of that we keep on running from them. And then our body reacts with the fight or flight and the chronic state of adrenaline and cortisol. And keep in mind, there are not real dangerous animals chasing us, but our thoughts can actually trigger this fight or flight response. Our thoughts can literally send adrenaline and cortisol pumping through us. That's why focusing on your symptoms and this future life of despair and agony puts us into fight or flight. If we do that all the time, we're in a chronic state of fight or flight. So as I say, we want to turn down the volume of our nervous system. How do we do that? Well, here's one of the last ingredients. We need to shift our focus to what we want, right? We want to soothe ourselves, bring ourselves down from this chronic state of fight or flight. Get into a place of peace. I'm sitting out in the front yard now. It's a beautiful sunny morning. I'm squinting a little bit because the sun's kind of in my eyes. But I try to get outside. Why? Because it soothes me. Staying locked up in my house all day is not soothing to me. So I'm out here barefoot, my feet in the grass, just sitting here getting a little morning sun, and that is soothing for me. So again, the ingredients here to getting rid of your distraction pain or distraction symptoms: knowledge, doing the assessment, making a decision for yourself that your body is fine just the way it is, and that your emotions are perfectly acceptable and not dangerous. So that helps you believe that there's nothing to be afraid of. That helps you believe that you can get better and that you're not stuck and that you're not destined to a life of pain and agony. One of the recipes here or ingredients is to become aware of that inner roommate and decide that what they're saying is not who you are, and it doesn't have any relevance in your life. They're just fleeting thoughts from this voice inside of our head, this inner roommate. That's not who you are. Another ingredient is feeling your emotions deeply. Use a process. Whether you journal, if that works for you, do it. If it stops working for you and you don't like it, find something else. There's many processes out there. I use a simple one. I am feeling blank emotion, period. Not I am feeling angry because story. Stories have a tendency to reactivate that emotional charge from that experience. So simply feel, as I said the other day, from your neck down to your belly. This is where we generally feel our negative emotions. So feel. Soothe yourself. That's another ingredient. We need to convince our subconscious mind that after we've just felt some of these pretty intense emotions, pretty uncomfortable emotions, that we're still okay. So go sit outside. Go do some deep breathing. Take a hot bath. Take a walk, if you're capable of doing that. Watch something funny. Read a funny book. Do something that brings you joy and meaning, right? Because our life is not about suffering. It may have been up until this point, but it's not supposed to be. That's not what we were destined to do with our lives. And we've just kind of gotten stuck in this downward spiral. And so these ingredients that I'm sharing with you are truly the answer that worked for me, and I believe they can work for you. So soothe yourself after you do this feeling process. And then lastly is to start to visualize, and focus on the life you want, right? If focusing on the life that we're afraid will happen hasn't helped you yet, doing that tomorrow is probably not going to help you tomorrow either. So start putting these ingredients together. It's the type of thing where if you miss some ingredients, or let's say you add some ingredients that weren't recommended, like, focus on your symptoms all day long, or catastrophize them, or talk about your pain all day long, those are ingredients that you're throwing into this mix here that were not on the recipe. And they may make things taste a little bad, and you may not get the outcome that you want. So really, focus on the ingredients that are recommended, and all the other stuff that you're trying to put into this soup mix, if you will, leave it out. Leave it on the counter. Decide, I'm not going to put in this anxiety, rage-filled, fear-based view of the future. I'm not going to pour that into the soup, because guess what? It's going to spoil the taste, and it's going to spoil the mixture. So hopefully you found this helpful. Let me know your thoughts, and I appreciate your comments. To the comments from yesterday about the inner voice, the inner roommate, that was very insightful for me, because I was thinking, let's shut these voices up. And somebody pointed out that we're not really supposed to be doing battle. This is about spiritual growth and transcending those inner voices. And so clearly I've got a lot of reading to do. Like I said, I was only through chapter 2 when I shot the video yesterday, and I have a lot more to learn. I'm on a journey as well. And I'm just sharing my thoughts and beliefs and recommendations in the hope that my experiences will help you as well. So, I don't know everything. If you think I'm missing the boat here, let me know. Those comments were fantastic. I welcome them. So, let me know what you think about this video. Let me know if this recipe sounds like something you'd like to put together for yourself. And like I said, leave out the ingredients that will put a negative and sour taste to this thing we're trying to create here. So thank you. I love you guys and gals. I appreciate all of your feedback. I appreciate you watching. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know. I do this every day, so leave a comment below and let me know what you want me to talk about. That definitely helps me come up with some new ideas. And we'll talk real soon. Thanks again.